In this video, I am going to try and provide you with a couple of ideas or examples you can use if you have a plumbing pipe coming through a floor joist like this, but the joists that have been cut are next to a wall. So let's go ahead and get started with the point that sometimes the joist is going to be cantilevering out. So here we can see where this joist right here sits on top of two walls. And if it's cantilevering out a third of the way, for example, if it's cantilevering out 2 feet, but this is 6 foot long, then you're fine. This one right here, however, is going to be kind of floating in the wind there. So just kind of wanted to, a lot of times we can't see this. You know, we're doing some work over here, but we don't know what this looks like. And if that's the case, you might need to do a little more forensics on the situation. So what we have is a pipe coming through here. Now, this is a question someone just sent me recently where they had purchased a home and opened up some stuff and found out that one of the joists had been cut. One way to fix something like this would be to simply nail some 4x4 scraps. You can use 2x4s for something like this. And nail the joist to it. And this would kind of transfer the load going down here. And this might not be the engineer is going to want this thing to run all the way across. But you can get away with something like this if it's next to the wall, because now it's going to be supported by the wall. Now, something like this might not work if somehow it's got a lot of weight on it, some type of a concentrated structural load. But for something like we're looking at here, this would be just fine in my opinion. And if you want it to be a little stronger, just put a few more in there. You know, I kind of centered this one in here. And again, like I said, you could use 2x4s for something like this. Something else that might work would be to grab a board that's a little smaller if you can't fit the same size board in there. A lot of times you're going to have like a 2x10, but instead of being 9.5 inches, it would have shrank over the years. It might be 9.25. So you might need to rip this board down or simply use a 2x8. Just go one board smaller. If this is a 2x12, use a 2x10. And fasten it to the top framing plates, something like that, and then nail the joist to it to transfer the load. Now, here's the reason why I'm making the video. Someone sent me a picture of a problem they had. They had something similar to this, and I looked at it and I gave them some information, thinking that it was a regular joist over here, but I looked at the picture to make the video, and it was a balloon framed wall, and the joist was nailed next to it, and the plumber had simply cut the joist, and that's really not that big of a deal because it's going to be supported by the nails into the wall framing studs, and I hope that makes sense. So you're going to have a situation like this, balloon framed wall, and where the studs aren't stopping below it, actually going up. So this would transfer the load into the wall, basically, and support the joist. So if you have a situation like this, you are going to be in good shape. So what I would do, though, is simply nail a board, if you have enough room. Just keep in mind, if you do put a board, let's say you only have enough room for something that's 1.5 inches, and you're going to use a nail that's a little bit larger, it could actually hit the pipe. So just don't nail the floor sheathing. Put a nail and drive it into your pipe here. That won't be a good thing. So just keep that in mind. If you do nail a scab piece of wood on here, how long does it need to be? Put a 4-footer on there if you want. This is going to help you if this ties this together. If this, you could even put another block in here if you want something to where if there is any pressure placed on this to where it's going to be moved from side to side, the longer this board would be, the better, kind of a thing. So hope that makes sense. Another view of it there. And last but not least, make sure that you have fire blocks in here. I don't know if I saw any fire blocks in the picture that the individual sent me, so just kind of throwing it out there. Fire blocks will prevent fires from going in between the wall framing studs and kind of up the channel. If you don't have a block here, it can just come right up here and then start burning into the next room. And it also allows, in a fire, it can pull fresh air or oxygen into a room. So it does kind of two things: prevents the fire from spreading and prevents the fire from drawing fresh air in to keep it going. So anyway, that's it for this video, and it is off to the next one.